Hello. Have blocks handy if you wind up wanting them. I don't know that you need them, but if you like to have them for low lunges, that's great. We're gonna make a trip around our mat today, just one little rotation here, and we'll start in Sukhasana. Get yourself sorted. Let your hands rest on your knees. And start settling in. Let your eyes close. And after a few breaths that allow you to arrive to your practice, start to bring Ujjayi breath in. Starting to constrict the back of the throat, to slow and lengthen the breath. Hearing it from the inside. And as you're kind of refining this Ujjayi breath, refine the way that you are sitting as well. Notice where you are working too hard to sit upright and soften those places. The invitation today is to see if you can carry the Ujjayi breath throughout your practice. And just see if it makes any difference to your practice, to the quality of your practice. Is it distracting? Does it enhance your practice? Is it just too much to think about? Does it change the cadence of what you do? Take 3 more breaths here in Sukhasana. And if you've already decided that Ujjayi will not continue through your practice, here's a good place to stop. Or maybe you just kind of dip in and out of it as we move. The end of your 3rd breath, bring your feet nice and wide. Ooh, not so wide that it's already a struggle. Wide enough that you can feel some feedback from your legs, somewhere in your legs. And point your feet, still staying nice and upright. And flex your feet. Flex your feet so much and firm your thighs so much that maybe even the heels come off of the mat. And point. And flex. And again, each way. We'll bring hands into the center. At first, keep them close to you and tilt your pelvis forward. So the change comes from the pelvic tilt, not the deep fold. So start sending the hip points forward, 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 forward. And then when you get to the stopping point of that, then start to walk hands forward and support yourself either with hands or elbows. But even still, just not a ton of effort here. And knowing that it's early on, and if legs are really protesting here, always the option to back off. It should never be forceful. You kind of want to stay in that exploration, in that curiosity, never to a point where you feel like this is an obligation. And the longer you stay, just notice what changes. And if you're still using Ujjayi breath, what's different when you fold forward? Where does it go? Is it more difficult or is it easier? Slide yourself up, leave your right hand in the center and bring your left arm up and over toward your foot. Sending left ribs up toward the ceiling and left sitting bone down. Come all the way back up through center. Right arm reaches over toward the left foot. And right ribs come up as the right sitting bone gets heavy. And come all the way back up. Slide your legs to touch. And then just take a little moment here. That's kind of a lot to begin with. So just take it in at first. Step your right foot over your left leg. Leave your left leg long. Sit up tall. Take your right knee into your left hand. Left or right hand comes behind. This is where a block might be nice. Press into the floor or into the block. Get tall and then find a twist. And you can use hands as leverage. You can hug the knee into the body. You can press into the right hand. And as much as possible, taking any roundness out of the back so that the spine can be long and twisted. When it's curved and twisted, that gets a little funky on the discs, particularly in the mid to low back. So a little muscular engagement here is practical. And unwind yourself. Step your left foot over your right leg. Right hand hugs the left knee in. Left hand comes behind on the floor on the block. Super tall, tall, tall. Hug everything in, then twist. And then unwind it all. Give your legs a shake. And make your way to hands and knees. So if you want, it could be a good idea to have a block on each side, on each long side of your mat. Come to hands and knees. That way you just have one around should the need arise. And as soon as you get to hands and knees, step your left foot forward into a low lunge. And if you want to block here, obviously, do that. Use your hands to support you as you send hips forward. And then bring both hands to the inside of the left foot. Turn your back toes under. As you walk to the long edge of your mat, come into a wide leg forward fold. Pull your heels in. Toes are pointing toward the corners of your mat. Bend your knees and slowly make your way up to standing. Big star pose. Big inhale breath. Get as long and wide as you can. Exhale down into goddess. Inhale up and reach, take up space. Exhale, elbows pull down. Inhale up. And this time, when elbows come down, right forearm comes to right thigh, and left arm reaches over. Come back into center, left forearm to left thigh, right arm reaches over. One more time on each side. Right arm down, left arm reaches. Left arm down, right arm reaches. And get big, big star pose. Exhale, hands to hips, turn feet forward and fold down into a wide leg forward fold. Just hang out here for a second. And walk hands to the back of your mat into a low lunge on your right side. So nothing fancy here. Hands are down, chest is down. Even maybe chest is laying on your right leg. We're looking for an opening in the hip flexors, in the thigh, on the left side, and in the hamstring on the right. Send your hips back, come back to your tabletop, and lower down to your belly. Find 3 cobras. Roll your shoulders down and back, lift your chest. These can be little baby cobras. These can be great big high cobras. Just a little bit of opening in the front of the spine. Press up to tabletop. Step your left foot forward again. This time a little strength in the legs. So we're not sending hips like super forward like we just did. We're kind of more 90 degrees so that we can come upright Interlace fingers behind. Lift your chest. Lift your chin. Lift your eye gaze. See what that changes about your balance and your ability to stay upright. And then hands come down on the inside of the left foot. Back toes turn under. Walk your hands to the right. So now you're facing the other side, the other long side of your mat. And bring your hand to a block. Your left hand to a block. Right fingertips reach up. And maybe you find a bind here, slide your right hand behind. And if this is a big strain on your neck, bring your eye gaze down to your left hand rather than up toward the ceiling. If you bound, unwind, right hand comes down, left hand reaches up. And if you bound the other side, if you like to bind this side too. And unwind. Both hands down. Come into Skandasana, twice on each side. And last week we did it kind of slow. This week we will not. We'll just move and breathe at the same time. So an exhale bends the right leg. Inhale straightens both. Exhale, left leg bends. Inhale center. Exhale right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Come back into the middle. Start to walk your hands to the top of your mat where you started here in this circle. Make the legs nice and sturdy here, not this huge deep lunge. Interlace fingers behind. Lift your chest, lift your chin. Maybe you're lifting hands off of your back or your butt. Maybe not. One more breath. And then hands frame your foot. Back foot steps forward into a forward fold. And stay here in this fold. Maybe come to a ragdoll. But if possible, lose the support of your hands. As much as you can, letting your upper body just hang and your lower body support this. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive all the way up into standing. Bring hands to heart center. And then arms down by your sides, palms facing forward. Draw your shoulder blades toward one another. Draw your belly in. Firm your thighs. Tall and strong. Find a breath. Your hands back to heart center. Step as wide as your mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, soft knees, long spine, wide leg, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, lower your hips into malasana, into a yogi squat. If that is not a nice place for you to be, hips or back or knees or whatever, and sitting on a block is not helpful either, go ahead and come to seated, because that's where we're headed. Take one more breath here. And slowly, 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 slowly lower yourself to your seat. It's not the most graceful move in the world. And lower, lower, lower down to your back very, very slowly. Send your arms up overhead and your legs out long. Find a huge stretch. As if someone is pulling, have someone pull your right leg first and then your left. It's hard to do both. So one at a time, just kind of marching. Pull one leg, pull the other leg. And draw your right knee into your chest. Give it a little squeeze, send your knee out to the right and across your body into a twist. Come back to center. Pull both knees in. Send your right leg long. Give your left knee a hug in. And then out to the side and across your body. And back into center. Pull both knees in again. Send your feet up to the ceiling. Point your toes. Flex your toes. And do both again. Maybe rotate ankles and wrists. And bring your feet down. And your legs come out long. Arms down by your sides. Close your eyes. That's probably the fastest we've moved in this particular class for a long time. So let's take an extra beat here in Shavasana and let that work sort of absorb and then dissipate, kind of integrate into our bodies. If you've still been hanging on to that Ujjayi breath, let it go now. And allow for 10 full breaths here. They don't have to be real effortful. Rather nice and easy. And slow. Feel free to stay. When you're ready, roll to your side. Take a breath or two here. Push up to seated. And bring your hands to heart center. Find a full breath. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.